It all begins with a single decision. You step into the bathroom, still warm from your bed. You reach for the knob, and instead of turning it toward comfort, you twist it all the way to cold, ice cold. A shock of water slams into your chest. You gasp. Every nerve in your skin lights up. You want to run. You want to scream. You want to quit, but you stay, and something begins to change. This ancient ritual, once used by Spartans, samurai, monks, and mystics, isn't just some stoic challenge. Today, neuroscience, sports physiology, and psychology all agree cold exposure affects nearly every system in your body. In fact, the benefits are so powerful that it's starting to feel strange we ever stopped doing it. So, what happens if you start today? Let's break it down. The natural alarm clock your ancestors used. Forget your coffee. When cold water hits your body, your brain doesn't ask questions. It reacts. Your breathing instantly becomes deeper and faster. Why? Because your body's trying to pull in more oxygen to handle the sudden stress. Your blood vessels constrict, what scientists call peripheral vasoconstriction, pulling blood toward your vital organs to protect your core temperature. Your heart rate spikes, your muscles tense, and your brain lights up. But here's the twist. This isn't harmful stress. It's eustress, the good kind, short, controlled, and powerful. A study from Harvard Medical School found that cold exposure increases levels of norepinephrine, a neurotransmitter that enhances focus, mood, and vigilance. It's your body's way of saying, we're alive, we're ready, and unlike caffeine, there's no crash. People who do this daily describe it as a mental reset button, or as one Navy SEAL said, it's the fastest way I know to go from zero to fight mode. You don't just wake up, you ignite. Muscle recovery benefits. Here's a question. Why do Olympic athletes and pro football players stand in giant tubs of ice after training? The answer is inflammation control. When you exercise, your muscles develop tiny tears. This is normal. It's how they grow stronger. But too much inflammation slows recovery, causes pain, and limits performance. Enter cold water. Exposure to cold causes your blood vessels to narrow, vasoconstriction, slowing blood flow to the muscles and reducing swelling. But then comes the rebound effect. When you warm back up, the vessels open again, vasodilation, creating a powerful flush of fresh blood that carries oxygen and nutrients where your body needs them most. In a study published in the Journal of Physiology, researchers found that post-exercise cold exposure significantly reduced muscle soreness and sped up performance recovery compared to passive rest. And you don't need a full ice bath to benefit. Even 2 to 3 minutes of cold showering after a workout has been shown to reduce lactic acid buildup, boost circulation, improve joint function. But the benefit goes even further. Cold exposure also boosts mitochondrial efficiency. Yes, the literal energy factories of your cells. And that means not just faster recovery, but better performance next time. Immune system benefits. This is where things get surprisingly scientific. A cold shower doesn't just wake you up, it activates your immune system in a very unusual way. Let me explain. When your body is exposed to cold, your metabolism increases. Not for weight loss, at least not primarily. It increases because your body must generate internal heat to survive the temperature drop. To do that, your body ramps up a process called thermogenesis, which requires more oxygen, more energy, more immune activation. This triggers the production of white blood cells, the soldiers that fight viruses, bacteria, and infections. And then comes the study that stunned researchers. A Dutch experiment with 3,000 participants found that people who ended their showers with just 30 to 90 seconds of cold water were 29% less likely to take sick leave throughout the year. No supplements, no medication, just cold water. But why does this work? Cold exposure activates something called brown adipose tissue, brown fat. And brown fat releases heat plus hormones that interact directly with immune cells, making them more active. Even more interesting, people who regularly engage in cold exposure show lower levels of CRP, C-reactive protein, a key marker of inflammation. Chronic inflammation is linked to illnesses like heart disease, diabetes, autoimmune disorders, depression, meaning cold showers don't just protect you from colds, they help regulate your entire immune system. And if you've heard of Wim Hof, the Iceman, you know he famously allowed scientists to inject him with a toxin that normally causes fever and vomiting. He didn't get sick. Doctors found his immune system was responding differently, producing more anti-inflammatory proteins and fewer stress hormones. His method? Breathing and cold exposure. It's not magic, it's adaptation. foundation: skin benefits. Let's shift to something more superficial, but still scientifically grounded: skin and hair. Hot showers feel amazing, but they're honestly terrible for your skin barrier. When water is too warm, it removes natural oils, exacerbates dryness, irritates eczema, enlarges pores, speeds up skin aging. Cold water reverses all of that. When cold water hits your face, your blood vessels constrict, reducing redness, puffiness, and swelling, especially under the eyes. This is why models and actors dunk their faces in bowls of ice water before photo shoots. Cold water also tightens the pores, giving the skin a smoother, more refined appearance. And for hair, your hair strands have a protective layer called cuticles. Hot water opens them. Cold water closes and seals them, increasing shine, strength, moisture retention, resistance to breakage. Some dermatologists even claim cold rinsing can slightly improve scalp blood flow, which helps deliver nutrients to hair follicles. No product can replace that. No serum, no shampoo, just cold water. A free beauty upgrade that comes with zero chemicals and zero side effects. Mental health benefits. Now we get into the part most people underestimate. Cold showers aren't just physical, they're psychological. When cold water hits your skin, your brain triggers a massive release of dopamine and norepinephrine. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter linked to motivation, focus, and pleasure, can increase by up to 250%, according to research on cold exposure. That's a higher spike than what many antidepressants create. And unlike other dopamine sources, like social media or sugar, the mood boost from cold exposure is slower, more sustained, more controlled. It doesn't fry your reward system, it stabilizes it. But that's only half of the mental story. Every time you step into that cold shower, your brain screams, "Stop. This is uncomfortable," and you do it anyway. That moment, those 2 to 3 seconds, are where resilience is built. You are training your brain to tolerate discomfort, stay calm under pressure, override emotional impulses, build discipline and grit. Cold exposure is now studied in psychology under something called stress inoculation, a method of exposing yourself to small, controlled stressors so real life feels less overwhelming. Think about it. If you can willingly choose discomfort at 6 a.m., the rest of your daily problems suddenly feel a lot smaller. Your mind becomes steadier. Your threshold for stress gets higher. Your emotional control improves. Some people report reduced anxiety, others report better focus. Many say it's their favorite moment of the day, not because it feels good, but because it makes them strong. Metabolism activation. There's a strange kind of fat inside your body. It's not the kind that stores energy. It burns it. It's called brown adipose tissue, or brown fat, and cold water is the switch that turns it on. Brown fat is rich in mitochondria, tiny energy reactors in your cells that burn calories to produce heat. Unlike white fat, which expands when you overeat, brown fat contracts when activated, consuming energy. And guess what activates it the fastest? Cold exposure. In fact, studies from Harvard Medical School and the Journal of Clinical Investigation found that people exposed to cold environments for just 2 hours a day had 15 times more active brown fat than those who weren't. That translates to increased resting energy expenditure, improved insulin sensitivity, better glucose control, and yes, long-term fat loss. It won't replace healthy eating or exercise, but it boosts the engine. And here's a curious detail. In the 19th century, doctors used to prescribe cold baths to treat obesity. They didn't understand the science yet, but the results spoke for themselves. Today, we know why. When you take cold showers consistently, you create tiny windows where your metabolism runs in overdrive, burning calories not for movement but to maintain survival. So while it's not a magic pill, it is a biological lever, and you control it. How to start cold showers without quitting. Now, let's get practical, because jumping straight into a freezing 5-minute shower is a great way to never do it again. Here's how to do it the smart way. Start with a warm shower as usual. Clean yourself, relax, and enjoy the heat. At the end, turn the water to cold, not cool, cold. Stay under for 30 seconds. Focus on breathing, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Don't panic. Each day, add 15 to 30 seconds. Your body will adapt fast. Within a week, 1 minute will feel like nothing. Target areas like your back, chest, and face. These areas trigger the strongest response, especially the vagus nerve behind your neck. Bonus tip: smile during the cold. Seriously, it helps rewire your brain to associate the cold with challenge, not danger. This is not about punishment. It's about control. You decide when to step into the cold. And by doing that every day, you slowly train your brain to say, I can handle this. When you should not take cold showers. As powerful as cold exposure is, it's not for everyone. If you have any of the following conditions, consult a doctor first: heart, arrhythmias, or cardiovascular disease, severe asthma, hypertension, Raynaud's syndrome, epilepsy, autoimmune disorders. Why? Because sudden cold exposure can cause blood pressure spikes, irregular heartbeat, and hyperventilation, especially in untrained bodies. It's not about being a hero. It's about being consistent and safe. Always listen to your body. And if you feel dizzy, numb, or panic, step out. Resilience comes from habit, not harm. The real transformation. Here's what no one tells you. The true benefit of cold showers isn't physical. It's not the dopamine. It's not the muscle recovery. It's not even the fat burning. It's this: you get stronger doing something you don't want to do. You rewire the part of your brain that says, this is uncomfortable, I should avoid it. And you replace it with, this is hard, but I can handle it. That's not just for showers. That's for life. Every time you stand under that freezing water, you're becoming a little more resilient, a little more focused, a little more unbreakable. But here's the truth: none of it matters unless you actually do it. Start with 30 seconds tomorrow. No excuses. And when that cold hits your skin, don't flinch. Breathe, stay, win. Then come back and tell me, did you survive or did you give up? We'll see who's serious. Subscribe if you're one of them.